Hey everybody, Alex here with another episode for you guys in my YouTube series, Proverbs, God's Encouragement for You. In this series, we go through Proverbs and we look at the encouragements and things that God might be telling us throughout the Proverbs every day. So without further ado, let's get started. So today we are going to be looking at chapter 25 of Proverbs. And for reference, I am using the ESV version of the Bible. If you guys are using a different translation, that is totally okay. That's awesome. But just as reference, if you guys want to follow along with me in this version, you are more than welcome to. So, starting in verse 1, let's get started. It says here, verse 25 or chapter 25 verse 1. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah king of Judah copied. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not put yourselves forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of great. For it is better to be told, "Come up here," than to be put lower in the presence of a noble. What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court, for what will you do in the end? When your neighbor puts you to shame, argue your case with the neighbor himself, and do not reveal another secret, lest he who hears you bring shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Like gold ring or an ornament of gold, it is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him. He refreshes the soul of his masters, like clouds and wind without rain. Is the man who boasts of a gift he does not give? With patience a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. If you have found honey, eat only enough for you, lest you fill of it and vomit it. Wow, that's pretty specific. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he has his fill of you and hate you. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club, or a sword, or a sharp arrow. Trusting a treacherous man in times of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. Whoever sings songs to a heavy heart is like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, and like vinegar on the soda. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue angry looks. It is better to live in a corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. Like cold water to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. Like a muddied spring or a polluted fountain is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glorious to seek out one's own glory. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. So, I know there was a lot there to unpack, but we're going to start breaking it down a little bit. I highlighted a couple verses here that I really wanted to dig deeper into, starting in verse 18. We'll reread it again for you guys. It says in verse 18, a man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club or a sword or sharp arrow. So we mentioned this a little bit in the previous episode about how our tongue is a very strong weapon. It is one of the most powerful weapons we have in this world. It can either lift people up or it can tear people down. Mentally, spiritually, physically, everything, all of the above. And we see here that it is showing a very clear and a very good example of what our tongue is like when we use it for the wrong way. Saying, a man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club. So like a very heavy weapon. Or a sword or a sharp arrow, something that can very pierce you. So when you bear false witness about someone, when you lie or say something negative about someone, that's like being literally pierced in the heart with an arrow, or stabbed in the gut with a sword, or being beaten in the head with a club. It hurts emotionally and sometimes even physically. Sometimes the emotions are so overwhelming that it like almost physically hurts us. And that's what just our tongue can do. So we have to be very, very careful what we say with our mouths, because stuff like this can be very dangerous. And that's why we want to lift other people up and give them strength, not tear people down. Also in verse 19, it says, trusting in a treacherous man in a time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. So I like this analogy that they use here. Trusting in a treacherous man is in times of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. So when we trust in someone, in the wrong person, it hurts. Like we see here, it's like a bad tooth, like a toothache, when it just, that constant gnawing feeling, or a bad foot, like you have that constant pain. When you trust in someone that isn't the right person, like in a bad person, we have that feeling. It's like, this doesn't feel right. But when we keep going down that agonizing pain feeling will still be there. Or that guilt or that shame that we feel. It's like that. That's what it feels like. So what it's saying here is we just have to be careful. We don't have to, it's not just be careful with our tongues, but be careful with our eyes, our ears, everything that we do. We have to be very, very careful. Verse 21, I want to jump down to 21 real quick. Says here, if your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head. Now, I really like this verse because it's a very interesting analogy. And some people will be like, what does he mean? Like, how does that, like, wouldn't that just be making them be put higher? Well, if you think about it, a lot of times when someone treats you poorly, they expect you to retaliate in return. But if they treat you poorly and you reward them for that, not exactly reward them, but treat them better, they'll be very confused. It's like the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If someone treats you poorly, you're not going to treat them poorly back, because that's not how you want to be treated, right? You just got treated poorly. You don't want to treat them the same way. You want to treat them better. And the best example I've seen this is, if you guys have, in the series Chosen, there was an episode where Jesus and the disciples are walking down a path, and some Roman soldiers come, and apparently by law, it is required for them to carry their stuff for a mile, and then they'll take it. It is by law. If they ask you to do it, you have to do it. There's no way out of it. And they do that, and obviously Romans, Jews, they didn't clash very well. They did not like each other. But we see here in this situation, they get treated poorly, and they don't like it. But once they hit the mile, Jesus tells them to keep walking with their stuff. And even though the requirement is just a mile, they keep going another mile. It's like also in the verse where it says, if someone needs a coat, give it to them. If they tell you to walk a mile, walk an extra mile. And that's what they see here. And that's what it's referencing. I feel like it's referencing here is, if your enemy is hungry, give them something to drink. If they are thirsty, give them something to drink. If they're hungry, give them something to eat. They were enemies, and yet they treated them better, and they were actually shocked by it, and they felt bad. That was like them heaping coals on their tongue or on their head. And that's what I believe is saying here, is like, it's just like, what? So I hope that if that makes understands, or if you understand that. And I really like that, because I feel as Christians, that's how we should treat everybody, is the same way we treat anyone else, is with the same kindness that Jesus would treat us, and the same way that we want to be treated. We want to be treated with respect. So the last verse I highlighted was the very last verse. A man without self-control, verse 28, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. This is a very important verse, I believe. Is self-control is such a big thing. We mentioned that when it comes to using your tongue, it is a very powerful weapon. We have to have self-control with that. But self-control can be very difficult. If we don't have self-control, like we mentioned, especially with our mouths, it can tear people down. It tears walls down. Now, it may not physically tear walls down, but spiritually, mentally, it will tear walls down, and it is very dangerous, just like it says here. If you don't have self-control over what you're doing, it will tear down walls, and it's dangerous. So if you guys get anything out of this episode, the biggest thing I want you guys to understand is be careful with what you say and what you do. Because what you say and what you do will have can have lifelong impacts on people, whether you realize it or not. And that is one of the biggest things that I believe Christ is wanting us to do, is have lifelong impacts, but in the positive way, about us spreading the gospel and lifting people up, because those have lifelong impacts on people and give people something to look forward to and be like, you know what, this person was really nice to me. I want to go and spread that to somebody else. We're planting seeds all over the world, and we want to keep doing that to help people bring people closer together and help spread the light of Jesus. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope this was encouraging for you. I know this has been very encouraging for me. If you guys are enjoying this series, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys have any add-ons or any comments, make sure to leave in the comment section. Would love your guys' feedback about what you guys think of this series. And looking forward to the rest of this series. Hope you guys are enjoying it. And have a great rest of your day. God bless you guys.